Hello, all you lovely people. I feel like it's been forever. It's not, but to me it's felt like forever. I don't know why. But anyways, hello, welcome back to the lovely channel. Today is the April reading wrap up. Woo! Yay! So fun. So in total I read 14 things this month. I'll be more specific. I read 8 books, 4 graphic novels, and 2 novellas. So yay for that. So we'll get started. And the first book that I read this month, oh my gosh, I was about to say semester, clearly school's on the brain, was Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which loved. Loved. So if you don't know, this is the second in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. Talia Hibbert. This is the second sister in the book. I had already read the first one, which is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, I think in March? Yeah, it must have been. Must have been. And I liked that one, but I liked this one so much better. So basically just a really quick synopsis. It's the second sister, Dani or Danica. She is like this professor who works all the time and is very like confident in herself. And she kind of just doesn't want a relationship. She's just not a relationship person. She just wants a like friends with benefits type situation. And she's like searching for that. Enters, not enters. Well, I guess, whatever. Zafir, who is a security guard type beat at like the university that she works at. So sweet. Literally, he had me blushing. He was like the sweetest person ever, and their story's just really cute. So definitely recommend read it. And even if you've read the first Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and you didn't like it as much, I would still suggest reading this one because I have still not read the third one, which is, I think, I know it's Eve, but I don't know what her book is. Anyway, whatever the third book is, I haven't read it yet, but I liked Get a Life, but I loved Take a Hint. So even if you didn't love Get a Life, try Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Loved it. Started off I was about to say semester again. Oh my gosh. I started the month off really good. I really liked it. It was upbeat. Okay, after that light-hearted, lovely British romance, I then moved on to the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. Ha 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 ha. I read this, I got COVID unfortunately, and I was in isolation, so I literally just read, it is 4 books and then 2 novellas, so let me see if I can name them in order. I have a whole video about it, so I'm not really going to talk about it. Go to the video, I'll have a link in the description if you want a more in-depth analysis. I think that video is literally like 55 minutes long. I have a lot to say about it, so please go watch that if you are interested. And I did like them. I will say I did like them. Like I do understand how problematic they are, and I understand that, and I think that's very important to note. But I did like them. So the first one is Corrupt, the second one is Hideaway, then we have Kill Switch, then we have the first novella, which is Conclave, and then we have the second novella, which is, or no we don't, no, then we have Nightfall, and then we have the second novella, which is Fire Night. Yay. Okay, after that, like after those dark books that are Devil's Night series, I reread the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman, Alice Oseman, which, if you don't know, is our graphic novel. So I read 4 graphic novels, Heartstopper Volume 1, Heartstopper Volume 2, 3, and 4. Great. I had originally read them back in 2020. I found them randomly when I was in quarantine, like literally like this, it was like March of 2020. I remember distinctly because I just had gotten home from study abroad and I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and I read Heartstopper during that time, and it's so cute. If you don't know anything about it, it's this, or it's these graphic novels that stars Nick Nelson and Charlie Spring. Charlie Spring is this boy who was outed kind of like I think the year before, and he was bullied a lot for it and all these things, and he's kind of navigating this relationship with this dude Ben at the beginning of the first book, and they're kind of like a secret thing and like all of those feelings. And then Nick Nelson kind of becomes his crush. He's a year older and he's like a rugby lad. And oh, this is also British if that wasn't apparent, but I don't know why it wouldn't be apparent, but whatever. I was very up on British things this month, but anyways, but he's like everyone thinks he's straight. So it's their relationship blossoming. And it's so cute. When I first read it, I loved it. I just stopped reading it because it was like she was updating it. I think at that point, volume 3 had been released, but I don't think volume 4 had been released. Not really quite sure though, but she also has them, Alice, the author, has them up for free on, if you just search it up, you can get them for free online, which is so amazing, but you should definitely buy and support them if you can. But yeah, and also, if you don't know, this just became a Netflix show, literally premiered like last week, so that's why I reread them, because I knew that it was becoming a show and it was coming out, and I was like, oh goodness, I really need to reread those, because I kind of forget what happens. So I low-key think it was at the tail end of my isolation, which is kind of funny, because the only 2 times I've ever really had to isolate because of COVID, I've read Heartstopper both times, so kind of cute for me. I didn't realize that. But highly suggest. That's like something that's like, it's one of those that's like, even if you don't really like romance, it's so easy because it's a graphic novel, and it's just so worth the read. It's just so beautiful, and it's so inclusive, and it's just such pride throughout it, and it's beautiful. Yes. Okay, the next book is Consider Me by Becka Mack, and it's the first in the Playing for Keeps series. I was literally just looking up on Goodreads trying to remember what this book is about, which is not a good sign. I know it was a hockey romance, and okay, I'm just going to say everything I remember about this, and then we'll piece it together, I guess. So I just looked up his name. I did not remember that, but his name is Carter, and he's like he's a pro hockey player, and he's like the playboy classic trope. He's constantly, like, I don't know, he like constantly gets girls, whatever, playboy, you know what a playboy is. And then, oh, okay. I'm piecing so together. I kind of remember it because it was weird to me because it's the first in the series, and I don't know if they come from a different series that the author has or what, but there's this couple, I don't remember their names, but it's Carter's best friend who's also on the team, and then the girl's best friend, who's Olivia, it's her best friend, are like getting married. And I first of all was like, why is there such a developed couple? Not that there can't be, but I'm always like suspicious, especially when it's a series, and I'm like, why didn't you leave that for like a book? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like a little bit weird to me, but whatever. But yes, so that's how they meet. So Carter's like this huge playboy, this hockey person, whatever. And then one of his best friends, I think his name's Emmett. That sounds right to me. And then I think his girl's name is Cara. That sounds kind of right to me too. Her best friend is Olivia. So that's kind of how they meet. And Olivia is she's a PE teacher. I feel like I'm being so specific, but it's literally because I don't remember like anything about this book. And yeah, she just like isn't taking it. Like, she's just like, I don't want to be with you. Like, you're just gonna like blow it off, and like, you've never had a serious relationship. Like, I don't think you're actually gonna take me seriously. And kind of that's the vibe. And then he's just like down bad for her. And I do remember this book is very long. I think it's over 600 pages, which kind of confused me because like there was definitely no reason for it, considering I don't even remember half of what happened in the book. I low-key think it was like them together for a long time. Oh, I do remember the conflict now. I'm not gonna say it, but like, yeah, it was very like kind of dumb. It definitely didn't need to be that long. I didn't dislike the book. It just was like, and then the length didn't add anything to it. It reminds me of Write Me Off by, I'll put it down below, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like something Davis or something. It reminds me of that just because it's like, first of all, it's a sports romance, and then second off, it's just way longer than it needs to be. Like, you know what? I kind of am a fan of when books have like the part where it's like they get together and then you get to see for like a large chunk of the book of them being a couple and being together. I low-key like that. Not all the time, because I think usually it gets kind of boring and then they have to break up for some reason, and that creates conflict and drama and things. But I think every once in a while, I think that can be a fun story, but you need to do it in the right way, so it's not just like we have endless chapters of them just being kind of together and nothing happening. And I feel like that's kind of what this book feels like. And also Write Me Off by like Brandy Davis. I think that's the name. I think it is. So yeah, not my favorite. I might pick up the other ones playing for keeps, like if they keep putting them out. I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, because I was like, oh, I think I was like, after I read it right away, I was like, oh, I'll read the next one, and then it didn't come out. So then I was just like, oh, I think this book came out pretty recently. I don't know why I picked it up, but I mean, if you like sports romances, it has something for you. Again, I didn't hate it. It was just like a like, and there's a book that I read type beat. Okay, next was a highly, highly, highly anticipated book for me that I read. It was Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, which is a big deal because this is my first ever Colleen Hoover book. Kind of crazy. I don't know why I've just been putting them off for so long. Actually, I do know why. Basically, I don't love a sad romance, and even before that's not even like a spoiler, even before I knew anything, I knew Colleen Hoover was like, she writes sad romances, like all of them have like sadness in them, and that's usually not my MO. I kind of prefer a little like fluffy piece, you know. I mean, I like different things every once in a while. Like obviously I liked like Devil's Night, but I also like Take a Hint, Dani Brown. So, and then I also like Ugly Love. So, you know, versatility. But I think for the most part, I don't lean towards sad books just because it's like reading's my escape, and I don't particularly want to be sad all the time when I'm reading. But sometimes I get in the mood where I'm like, this book sounds really good. Whatever. This is a lot. Anyways, I read Ugly Love, which was my first Colleen Hoover book, who she's just like a huge author in the romance genre, if you're not aware. And I actually was going to read It Ends With Us first, and then it kept coming up in my library, and I kept being like, just give me 7 more days, because I was like, I don't want to read that right now. And I was doing that for both Ugly Love and It Ends With Us for months, literally just being like, oh, send it back to me in 7 days, send it back to me in 7 days. And then I never would get around to it, and I forced myself. Ugly Love came up first, and I was like, you have to read this. And I was like, no, you're right. So I like forced myself. I like checked it out, and I was like, you have 21 days to read this book now. And I did. And I really liked it. So basically the story, I don't know what I can tell you without giving much away, is between Tate and Miles. So basically Tate moves in with her older brother because she's like between jobs or something. I don't really remember. Oh, she's finishing school. Yeah, she's a nurse. Cool, fun. Yes, great. And he is a pilot. That's not important, but I'm saying it anyways because I remembered it. And then one of his friends from flight school, airline school, I don't know what that's called, is Miles, and who also lives in the same apartment building. And Miles is this, like, he's classic loner boy, doesn't talk much, very mysterious, very like, definitely has like a dark past, like doesn't like talking about his past, like the things I eat up. And basically him and Tate kind of decide to start having like a friends with benefits type deal relationship, and Miles is very clear that like there's nothing that's going to come from this. Like the 2 rules, this is not a spoiler either because it says it on the synopsis or like the like blurb on the back of the book. It says like the 2 rules are like, you can't ask me, or you can't expect a future, and you can't ask about my past. So it's like very mysterious man vibes. And yeah, I mean, I liked it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't love it. Of the sad romances I've read, I'm going to say I prefer Brittany C. Cherry. Honestly, kind of a lot over Colleen. To be fair, that's kind of an unfair statement, I feel like, because I've only read 1 Colleen Hoover book, and I've read 3 or 4 Brittany C. Cherry books. But I think Brittany C. Cherry does kind of the same thing of like the sad book motif of like, you know, going in, their book is going to be sad, and you know going in it's going to be like this dramatic, just heart-wrenching love story. But I just think, I've talked about it, I'm such a fan of Brittany C. Cherry. I think she just has like such a way of expressing love and writing love and making you feel that like heaviness in your chest I don't know. I think, and she's also underrated. I think I don't hear anyone talking about Brittany C. Cherry like ever, which is a travesty. So I highly suggest you read some Brittany C. Cherry books if you like Colleen Hoover. And I'm gonna read some more Colleen Hoover books to try to like even that out and see if it's the same. I do think Ugly Love's like a kind of good like litmus test though, just because I feel like whenever people talk about Colleen Hoover's books, I feel like at least I see them talk about Ugly Love. It Ends With Us and like All Your Perfects, I would say, is the three that I see most often. Maybe Reminders of Him now too. I know that's her most recent one. So I am going to read a few more of those, but for right now, if you like Colleen Hoover, go check out Brittany C. Cherry. Okay, last book of the month is The Freshman by Monica Murphy, which is the first in the College Years series. I picked up this book because I think I got a recommendation for The Senior, which is the last book in the series. There's four: the freshman, the sophomore, the junior, and the senior. And I was feeling really nostalgic. This was at obviously the end of April, and I was kind of winding down. It was like my last week of classes, my last week of everything, and I was like, I need a like college romance right now. I was like, I need to like read that right now because that's still what I'm going through right now, and I can't say that for much longer. So I was like, I need to find one, and that was just like the first one that I remembered, or was like, oh, that one. Literally, what are their names? Hold on, stand by. Okay, got the names. We're ready to roll again. So basically, this is, and also I found out after, I've never read anything of Monica Murphy before, but I guess she has like a ton of other series, oh my gosh, book series, and like one of them, Tony, the main dude in this, had already been a character in or something, but I didn't read those, so I can't really talk to them, but I think there is one of that. So if you want to go read that before, maybe look up Monica Murphy before, if you are excited about this book, or you could not. It didn't, I don't feel like it changed anything for me. But anyways, basically this is a story of Hayden and Tony. So Tony is a freshman, hence the name The Freshman, at Fresno State. Say that 5 times fast. Fresno State, Fresno. Oh, I guess it's not as hard as I thought. And then Hayden is a junior, also at Fresno State. They meet in like some other part of California that's not Fresno. I don't really remember. And they're both Richie Rich kids, and they are, I think they literally, yeah, they meet at a Range Rover dealership, which is hilarious to me. But anyways, they meet and they kind of like start flirting, and they're like, oh, this is so fun. And then they see each other later that night at this like business thing they both have to go to because their dads want them to go to. And basically their fathers are like business enemies, and they were like, don't be friends with that Tony, and don't be friends with that Hayden. Which I'm like, does that happen? Like maybe over like something bigger, but like over like business enemies. I'm like, what even is a business enemy? I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't seem real to me. Anyways, me, like, I'm reading like mafia romances too and stuff, and I'm like, this doesn't seem real. That like business enemies could be real. Whatever. Anyways, so then they go to Fresno State, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna be friends because they both like don't believe in love, and they're like, love isn't real. It just causes pain and hurt, and I got ugly love vibes. Anyways, and so then they're like, we're not gonna do that. We'll just be friends. And then they're like quickly like, never mind, we're also gonna be friends with benefits. And then they're like, never mind, we're also gonna date. I honestly did not like this book that much, if I'm being really honest. It was just, it was forgettable, to say the least. I don't know. I mean, like, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't very interesting. And the whole time I was just like, I guess I don't really like books that frequently that are like, the character just like doesn't believe in love. Because most of the time I think it's for stupid reasons. Sometimes there's exceptions. Ugly Love, I kind of accept that. Like, other books that come to my mind, like, none at this moment. I was thinking of some like Harry Fix or something. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. But like, Tony and Hayden, they didn't believe in love because Tony had a bad relationship in high school. Okay. And then like Hayden, I don't even remember what. I think it's low-key just like her parents divorced or something like that. Like, which I'm not saying isn't real, but to say like love does not exist and that you're falling for this person but you won't accept it just because you think love does not exist seems kind of crazy to me. But who am I to say? I love love, so maybe I just can't imagine not believing in it. But I never really liked those books that much, so it's just kind of like but I have, did I? No. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. And then I read the freshman at the like last of April, and then I've already read the sophomore, and I'm gonna finish the junior and senior, which I think I'm gonna do a book review on, so you'll get another video of that. But I think it checked the, and it also annoyed me because I was like, oh, this is such a fun concept of like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I was like, this would be so fun moving through the friend group and like having each year, but the way she did it makes no sense to me at all. Because, okay, so the freshman has Tony, who's a freshman, and Hayden, who's a junior, which I'm like, why would you not just make her a freshman? That makes so much more sense to me because then everything would just be simpler. And I think that'd be a cute love story. Like, the two of them meet, they're both going to college for the first time. I think that's cuter. They did not feel like freshmen at all either. They did not even feel like they were in college, honestly. Weird to me. And then the sophomore, it's like the girl is a year younger, so she's a freshman, and then he's a sophomore, and then in the junior, like it's based off the boys, but I'm like, why would you just not make it both the characters? Like in the junior, it's like the boy's a junior and the girl's already graduated or a fifth year senior, I guess, kind of technically. And then in the senior, he's a senior and she's a junior. So I'm like, just why is this happening? Just like make it more clear and just make it like feel like those years in college. I think that's such a cool concept of like making it those specific years. I think just make it those years. Make it like that in freshman year, they're in dorms. They like are meeting new friends. They're like creating their friend group. They're going to like their first frat party. They're doing like all the things that you experience as a freshman. And then sophomore, you're like more comfortable on campus. You like you have like a more defined friend group. You're still trying to figure out like your major possibly, like things like that. That's kind of fun. Junior year, it's kind of the grind year. You're kind of figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life. You're getting like internships for the summer. You're getting more serious about what you want in life. And then senior year, girl, you're leaving next year. You gotta like, you're savoring all your last things you do. You know campus front and back. You're like the big dogs on campus, so you're like, we need to go to this place. You get like the best places at the bar. You like do all those things. Like I think that'd be such a cool romance series if you did it like that, but she didn't really do it like that, so whatever. So that's all I read in April, which was again 14 things, 8 books, 4 graphic novels, and 2 novellas, which I feel like it didn't feel like that much, and I think it was just because at the beginning of the month I read a lot. Also, the Devil's Night series is very thick. I feel like I read a lot of thicker books this month than like, and I mean like over 600 pages when I say thick. And then also I think it was just, I had a lot of time, and then the last 2 weeks of April were my last 2 weeks of school, so the grind kind of picked up, and I had a lot to do in like projects and boring school things that don't matter right now because I'm done with them. I literally finished my last assignment right before I started doing this, so say congratulations to me. Thank you, that was so sweet of you. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this April reading wrap up. April was a great month. I remember saying that in my last thing. Yeah, no, it's been a great month, and I think May is going to be the best month ever because it is the best month ever because it's my birthday month, which just makes it the best month ever. And I'm also be graduating in that month and moving back home and celebrating Mother's Day and a lot of other fun stuff that I get to do in May because it's the best month ever. So thank you. That was a nice slap. So thank you for watching, you beautiful, amazing human being. I hope you got some good recommendations from this video, and I hope I made you smile. So, mwah, thank you so much. Bye.